right, you got to look at this tweet. Start with the one on the bottom, Martina Navratilova, tennis star, right? She writes, Trump is a racist and a misogynist. Surely that is enough. Pointing out facts are not demonization. Good for Megyn Kelly. Watch this. Martina, the vitriol went well beyond Trump. Some 70 million people have been called vile, bigots, racists, and xenophobes, are now being threatened with being put on target lists as punishment for supporting him. They've been demonized by the very people now sanctimoniously demanding civility. Amen, Megyn Kelly. And Megyn Kelly joins us, the legendary broadcast journalist and talk show host and friend. Megyn, great job on Twitter lately. How are you?
Thank you. Good to see you, Mr. Kelly.
Good to see you. You have been calling out liberals who are so intent on settling scores right now. I applaud you for that. But first off, overall, how are you feeling about this election? You're a lawyer. I mean, what do you think is going to happen right now?
Well, I mean, I've been looking at the legal challenges, and to me, to be perfectly frank, they do not seem that robust. So if I were going to put my money on whether this works out for Trump or it doesn't, I'd probably put it on it's not going to work out for him. Mainly because the vote tally is not that large, right? So like he's fighting over handfuls of votes in each state when it comes to alleging voter fraud. And you know, if he lost a state by like 25 votes, we might be in business. But he's losing them by 20,000, 50,000, that's just not going to get turned around by voter fraud. So if I were a betting woman, I'd say this piece of the race is over for Trump.
Well, wait a second. Okay, you might bet, but you don't win every bet. You lose some bets, and look, my fingers are crossed. And I do think that technological stuff in Michigan seems very, very strange. That system that seems to be flipping votes rather systematically against Trump. And also, you know about how they changed the rules in Pennsylvania. I mean, the Supreme Court, doesn't that look, is there hope there?
That's the one I like the best. Of all the legal challenges, that's my favorite because the courts had no business jumping in when managing elections is the business of the legislators. And so it shouldn't have done that. I understand it was COVID and they wanted different rules, but it's too bad. I want different rules at the Burger King when I want to get in late at night. It's closed, but I don't run Burger King, so I can't do that. And these judges had no business jumping in there. And I think it really did change the effect of the election. And these are serious matters. People need to have faith in the election. And there's a reason why they don't let just some judges take care of it. So if I were Trump and I want to put my best bet someplace, I'd be putting it in Pennsylvania. But I also just don't want to raise your audience's expectations to an unreasonable level. This is a very uphill battle for him at this point. And while I totally think he should pursue it to the last minute, because every voter who voted for him deserves to feel that they had their vote counted and deserves to have the tires kicked on this electoral process and how sound it is. If you have to be realistic about what the chances are.
Look, the guy has been underestimated and counted out many times before. It felt a little bit like Access Hollywood weekend this weekend, actually, and we saw him come back from that. So I just feel like this thing is not over. We'll see. In the meantime, fantastic job with the Megyn Kelly podcast, which I have listened to. It's terrific. And also, you are going where a lot of people are afraid to go. You're strong. You lean a little bit to the right, my sense, center right perhaps, but liberals have lost their minds. They lost it when Trump won, and now they've also lost it when they think he lost. Does that make sense?
You're right. I mean, to me, it was ironic because what set me off was Biden tweeted out Sunday morning or late Saturday night, "A nation unified, a nation strengthened, a nation healed." Okay, so no, it isn't. It's not even close. And what I tweeted out was that was written by a man who's been in his basement for the past year because the nation's extremely divided right now, extremely divided. And you need look no further than Joe Biden's own party. AOC within his party is one of the ones trying to get accountability lists together of Republicans who voted for Trump. There's a big project underway right now from a guy who worked for Obama, trying to get accountability lists going, not just for people who worked in the Trump administration, but for any of their, quote, enablers. Who does that mean? Your voters. The voters, the people who voted for Trump, now need to be on the accountability list. And what are they going to do? They're going to try to stop you from getting a job. They're going to try to blackball you. They're going to try to stop you, they said it explicitly, from getting any sort of a publishing deal. And they're going to threaten the publishing houses. Not only are they going to get in trouble, and the book a Trump supporter is writing will get boycotted, the entire library of the publisher's books will get boycotted. This is where we are. And Joe Biden's like, a nation here. Well, no, we aren't. And my observation was, because Biden's been saying this all along, that he's the unifier, he's the one who's going to bring us together. It sounds delightful. It sounds great. I want that, and I want world peace, and I want all the puppies and kittens to be adopted. But let's get real. It's not connected to the reality on the ground in this country right now. And the only reason you're hearing Biden and all these Democrats call for it is because they won, right? It's always the person who wins who's suddenly like, let's have unity. But what have they been doing for the past 4 years, Greg? They've been calling all of the Trump supporters, not just Trump, that'd be bad enough. Not just Trump, all the supporters, racist, bigots, xenophobes, misogynists, sexists, transphobes, you name it. And now it's like, that stuff we said, we're good, right? Aren't we good? Get over here.
So, Megan, it was very frustrating to me to watch Joe Biden be on the national stage, multiple debates, on 60 Minutes, which is ostensibly the most prestigious show in broadcast journalism, and not be confronted in a serious way about very obvious and basic questions about his integrity and his family's business dealings. I thought that was, quite frankly, a sin against what remains of journalism. And I did wonder what it would be like if you were on that debate stage moderating. We've seen it before. How does the media recover from this? Because they have been so wrong about so much and so selective in their questioning and who they hold to account and who they let off the hook. What do you make of the state of the media right now?
I would have loved to have had a shot at him on the Hunter Biden thing. Like, is it Hunter's laptop? Have you asked him? Why not? Did you have the meeting, whether it's on your calendar or not? You don't remember meeting with the third executive at Burisma, a company where your son was getting $50,000 a month? That didn't strike you as odd? You didn't look into it. Why not? You were the vice president. Didn't you have an obligation to know what your son was doing with respect to foreign policy that might affect the administration? I mean, we could have gone on for a while, but I was on my couch. No, in response to your larger question, journalism as we knew it is gone, Greg. It's gone. And I said this on my podcast. It was like a kamikaze mission to take down Trump by media, right? And they may have done it. They may have taken him out. And they certainly took themselves out too. And there's no coming back from it. I mean, Don Lemon is another one at CNN.
Oh, yeah.
Who is single tear for himself. I just want you to remember how hard it's been on the journal.
Well,
and no more attacks. By the way, uses
Megan, they're playing the music. I wish we had more time. Please come back. I don't think they managed to sink the Trump ship, though. I think it's coming in to its home port, and we'll see. Oh, and next time we got to talk about Fox News. You used to work there. I used to work there. I want to know what the heck is going on. They seem to have, they've changed. But we'll get to that next time. Megan, thank you very much. Check out the Megyn Kelly Show, and Megan's going to be a real force in this country for a long time to come. Appreciate it, Megan.
Thanks, Greg. See you soon.
All right. So, great person, by the way. What else we got going on? John McLaughlin, the president's pollster. He helped them win in 2016. Hey, there he is. Hey, thanks, John. Good to see you again. All right. Back to your social.
100-605 with say.com.
Mammoth Nation's here to
Having your total test
20. Okay, we got to get through a couple of hurdles, but my sense is it's all going to work out. John, you've been in politics for a long time. The president has not only hope, he's got multiple avenues in pulling this thing off, doesn't he?
Right. Well, even as we're on this program, the vote total in Arizona has declined by the margin to only 15,000 votes and over 70,000 to count. So and Georgia's still at 11,000 votes, and they're going to have a recount in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. You got litigation over a lot of ballots there that all of a sudden miraculously appeared for Biden. So before the media jumped the gun, there's a lot of voters want to see their votes counted.
Me too. And by the way, you have been so right. And Frank Luntz, kind of a controversial to us Trump supporters. Guy was never into Trump in 2016, but he apologized to you, I think, publicly. I heard about this, and we got it all queued up. Let's take a look.
I owe an apology to John McLaughlin, who is Donald Trump's pollster. He reported privately that Trump was leading in all these swing states by roughly a point, maybe 2 points. And in the end, even if Biden wins those states, John was closer than any of these heralded published polls that we see in the New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN. And in the end, we have to believe in accountability in the polling profession, in the political profession, even in yours, in the media profession. The public has the right to accountability, and we have the responsibility to deliver it.
Hey, I commend him for, giving credit where it's due. But what about the polling profession in general? I mean, they were so wildly off, and some of them were wildly off on purpose, weren't they?
Well, first of all, Frank and I never spoke about the polls, but on your program for weeks we were saying it was going to be close. And these media polls, when you think, I got lambasted by CNN, by Chris Cuomo on primetime back in June. CNN put out a poll that President Trump was losing by 14 points, but they only had 25%. They only had 25% Republicans in it, and then they did this one at the end of October. They had us losing by 12, and they continued to underpoll Republicans. They actually have their exit poll out now, and they have 35% Republicans in that. It's actually better than it was in 16, better than it was in 18. So for whatever reasons, they had these skewed polls, and they were trying to write this narrative. And I think the real it's not that the polls were wrong. It's that the media was biased. The anti-Trump media was using it as a tool to suppress our vote, to discourage Trump voters from coming out, and they kept doing it. So these are smart people. They're not doing this by accident. And a lot of these polls and a lot of these media programs are run by Democrat operatives who have run campaigns, whether you're George Stephanopoulos, he was at the top of the Clinton campaign. You got, Chuck Todd was a Democrat operative.
Hey, John, get this. Real Clear Politics just rescinded their call for Biden winning Pennsylvania. Now, that's major in the political world. They're fairly well respected. I'm just seeing that for the first time. What do you think?
That's what we've been saying all along. There's a lot of bad ballots there that shouldn't have been counted. Plus, there's provisionals of people that were showing up on Election Day to vote for President Trump. And it's going to,
But, John,
it's going to change.
They lean a little bit to the left. They do. And they're even admitting at this point that Pennsylvania is up for grabs. And I think that's great. Don't you?
Yes, because and by the way, John McIntyre, who founded that site, is a straight shooter. So they report a lot of polls, whether they're good or bad polls, but that's just a platform. And, the fact of the matter that they would rescind it, they're looking at the numbers, they're looking at the same statistics we're looking at. And I think you'll probably see something like that happen in Arizona and maybe in another state pretty quickly.
Hey, guess what? That means the media can't even call Joe Biden a president-elect anymore. It takes him down to 259 electoral votes, so below 270, and these states still haven't been called for Real Clear Politics. They average them all together, and as you say, a straight shooter. I'm liking this. I knew it. All right, John McLaughlin, to be continued for sure, and we'll be right back, okay?
See, we said it was close.
Yep. I'm thrilled.